It's Melanie here from Stomp Social Media Training. Now, I'm sure you've heard this phrase used lots and lots of times. How are you upping your productivity? How are you improving things? Are you wasting less time? And it's tough, especially as a small business and a sole trader, to do that, because you are literally running around like a headless chicken, trying to get lots and lots of things done all at once. And I'm not going to preach to you that I got it all right from the beginning, because I didn't. I really didn't. And, getting the work-life balance is crucial, especially when I had such young children when I first started my business. Now, this conversation, as much as I'd like to say, has come from my own mind. It really hasn't. I spent some time yesterday with a productivity expert doing a podcast for the Monday Morning Marketing podcast. And I've got to say, no lie, there was a few hallelujah moments. And oh my gosh, absolutely, I completely agree with you, throughout the podcast. And as you're listening, as I hope you will eventually listen to the podcast, which comes out in a couple of weeks' time, you'll hear, some of the stuff that we do is just outright silly. But we do it because we feel we should. So I'm going to stop talking about the mystery here and start actually getting down to some genuine content. So to up your productivity, ultimately you need to have full SMART goals. So if your SMART goal is to get 2 blogs written and all your social media content for you and your client done, it's unlikely you're going to get that all done in one day. Hi, David. It's unlikely you're going to get that all done in one day without a bit of help. Okay, because let's face it, once you're at work or at your desk, in your kitchen or wherever you're working from, you then have to put up with the onslaught of emails and phone calls, and every now and then you might need to go to the loo, have something to eat. All these things break your train of thought. So for me, what I found over time eventually was to start doing, is this really worth me doing? What am I going to get out of it? And is it, what I'm doing, is it clear enough as a benefit to me? Now, one of my favorite phrases, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, is features tell, benefits sell. And the features that I'm offering, am I putting across the benefits in a clear way? So, and also, are the features that they're giving me, are they benefiting me as well? It's really quite circular. If you aren't benefiting from what you're doing, why keep doing it? Now, for a long time, I used to walk around with a great big wad of Vistaprint business cards. This is before, we could see each other or be near each other, obviously. And that was great, I was disposing of all these cards really quickly. But did it really help me? No, it really didn't. Not many people ever came back from doing that. And it wasn't always just at networks either, as when I went to conferences or maybe even had a stand. It didn't always work. So I stopped wasting money, getting them designed and printed. So have a think about what you're doing right now. Is it, are you doing too many blogs? And is your audience responding better to videos? Are you actually a really good podcast guest, and you've had really good feedback from the 1 or 2 podcasts that you've attended? You could actually probably benefit from stepping into a few other podcasts and getting more recognition and more awareness, but you just haven't got round to it. Measuring everything. Okay, now I would obviously advocate for social media, but it's not good enough on its own. Nobody should use social media. No one does who's successful use social media in isolation. we have to use all sorts of things, even the local or national press, because it does get in there occasionally. So, you got to think, what are you doing that isn't actually working for you? Because maybe you're spending time doing stuff that isn't beneficial. And although you feel it's a feature you should offer, is it really worth it? So, in my opinion, I think if you are throwing all of your time and effort into something that's working for you because A, you enjoy it, B, it's something that your audience is responding to, and C, isn't going to kill you doing it. Okay. It's taken me years. Nobody does it overnight unless they're really, really good. And this productivity expert was amazing, and she probably did it in a couple of days. But now I'm doing 4-day weeks. And when somebody said that to me, oh gosh, I'd say about 5 years ago, I'd say, you're off your rocker. That's not possible, not to have a business ticking over on a 4-day week. But I do. So if I can do it, I know you can too. So really lay down everything, write down on a sheet of paper all the things that you are doing to build your business, and then work out what you really do need to focus on. As our good friends Andrew and Pete have said, kill, keep, and outsource. Kill, keep, and outsource. And if you can do those 3 things, your productivity will soar. There is a lot of things that you can actually hand over to other people. And it's not just your accountants and, getting your car fixed and that sort of stuff. There's a huge amount once you start trusting others with it. So this is my final thought for this week. I always try to grab you guys whilst you're during your lunch break. But for those of you who are watching on the replay, do put down in the chat that you're watching on the replay and give me your tips that will improve my productivity, because there's always more I can do. And whoever else is watching or looking at the comments, I'm sure they'll benefit from, the pearls of wisdom that you have too. So this is sayonara, goodbye for me for this week, but I'll be back next week, hopefully with some more hot tips. Have a great weekend.